recording, and you can start whenever you deem fit.
Lovely. Oh wait, hang on. Do we have like the visual for the episode or anything?
The visual for the episode.
Yeah, you know how like usually I can see what the
Oh, yeah.
stuff is. I was gonna say I've got no. I don't. I guess for this one don't necessarily need visibility right now, but I was gonna say if we're not watching like vods or
Oh no. So the
sharing clips, it should be fine.
no. So remember how we usually So remember how sometimes I'll run into this process and I have to restart my Mac.
Is that what we'd have to do?
Yeah, I'd have to restart my Mac for you to be able to see what is going on virtually.
That sounds like too much work for
Uh,
something where we don't really care.
No, so it's just it's you in your wife beater next to me in my shirt as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we're changing the world anywhere. So,
Okay. Well, if
all
you
right,
gotta
we'll just
talk,
pow.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, we'll just power drive through. It's fine.
Well, guess what? We were still recording, so you can you can fire.
Okay, here we go. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bag Zone podcast.
Hey,
You've got host Noah here with my co-host Braden.
howdy.
Also, U.S. Nationals observers for the finals.
True fact. Put that on the resume. Not only the finals, I did Boomtown versus Blame the Dog. I then did
Which was for fifth.
Fifth.
Yeah, so it would have been losers quarters.
Yep. I then did Boomtown versus Boomtown versus who?
Uh, it would have been Whiskey Disc because
Yes.
that was the losers semis match.
Yes, right, because then it was
Because Whiskey beat Monty to
Yep.
get there.
Yep, and then it was Whiskey Bop.
Which shout out Mike Cool for observing with you before
Fact.
the dynamic duo started.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I was on the flip side. I observed winners finals of Shuttle Bop and UP Hardwood with Soder,
Mm.
which was a good time. And then I was like, cool. I've kind of like, if you've ever observed, I feel like you kind of get in that trap where you just get invited to observe
You
everything
just keep going.
from that point on Sunday. And I was like, I remember looking at Grace and being like, I've done my part. Like I observed winners finals. It was a best 2 out of 3. I'm good. And
No, you
then
just get sucked in the whole
and I was like,
week.
I'm good. I'm done. And then all of a sudden you were like, Hool had a legitimate excuse. Like his wife and child were flying back
his
into town,
family
and he hadn't
came back
seen him in
into
a
town.
week. And I was like, okay, Hool's fam's coming back into town. Would you mind observing with me? And I was like, absolutely.
Yes.
Hear nothing. I go back to our tent, hanging out, and all of a sudden you just walked over and you're like, no, you ready? And I was like, oh shoot, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
you mean
here we
now?
go.
Yeah, it's time to go. It is
And then
time to go.
we observed for another like 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, because it went
at the
3
end of the
games,
tournament.
which I guess we'll get there. Yeah, but Noah and I were on the sidelines, and the best bit I think about observing is you get heckled a lot more than I realized from.
So sometimes, yes, I was going to bring this up. It wasn't when we were observing together. It was when I was observing with Soder. I was on the same side every time, and I'd end up standing in front of like Dan Thornton and Bill Gagne.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually those two, and then Mick Seitz was next to them,
Oh man.
which was just like the craziest 3 people possible. But like at one point we were gonna get called. Like it was very obvious we were gonna get called in, and like we only got called in. I want to say it was twice or 3 times for winners finals between Charlebop and Hardwood. Like we did not have to do a lot, but every time I'd walk over, Bill would go, "Noah, are you gonna open your eyes for this shot, man? They let you observe." And I was like, I'm just getting ripped on by Bill the whole time.
Oh, my favorite thing about Bill is so watching the finals. I was also on that Bill side, and someone would put something at like fingertips, and I go from watching behind the line, and then I go over to the scoreboard, And I walk by and I hear Bill whispering like as I walk by, goes, Braden would have caught that. And I went, God, like the whole time. Someone would put something in like a great spot, or someone would dump and he'd go, Braden wouldn't do that. Like but he was looking at me, fucking hilarious.
It's
Um
a little bit of an aside, but the drive back. So the legend himself, Axel Seitz, rode back with Grace and I like he did last year
wow.
from nationals because
Wow.
he's visiting Summer's family in Muskegon, so
Yes.
it's a lot easier to just kind of ride back downstate. Um, but we were on the car ride back, and we were kind of debriefing the tournament, and I was telling that story, and like the best Bill impression of my life came out, and I was like, it was something like, "Oh, come on now, Cam! Like you could throw harder than that, Cam." And Grace was driving, and she turns to me, she goes, "I will stop the car if that comes out again." And actually goes, "That was an unreal Bill impression.
Fuck
Like
yeah.
you nailed it." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I feel like if you're around him enough, like you just kind of got the essence down pretty good." But
Yeah.
yeah, we I guess we should probably get into why we are observing
Mm,
all of the important matches on
yes.
Sunday.
Well, before then, I have two other key takeaways from observing. You get free alcohol frequently because
Oh,
people on the sidelines, if
dude,
they're
the amount that you can look at someone and be like, "Hey, I'm observing, and my tent's too far," and they'll be like, "What do you
what
want?"
do you
Where you're
need?
like, "Dude, I need something," and they're like, "You're serving the community more than
It's just
I
their
would."
whole cooler opens up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so free beer.
100%.
But on the flip side of that, I had to pee so bad,
All
like
the time.
all of the time. And the
It's all
best
the
bit
time.
was when I was observing the first game I did. So the Boomtown Blame the Dog game. Ike Avery was like had pulled up and
Yeah.
it was sat next to me, and you know we were shooting the shit back and forth, and he goes, Galissa, you got to pee yet? And I looked at him and I went, you know, I kind of do. And then the third switch came, and they did nothing but catch. And about
Oh
20
no.
minutes later, Ike Avery goes, you still got to pee, hey, Galissa? And I went, yeah, dude, this is dreadful.
It's
But then that ended. I ran off to piss, and we're now in the finals. So fast forward hours later, and Ike is 3 rows back on our side, and we get late into game 3, and I look over, I make eye contact with Ike, and I go, Ike, I really gotta piss, and he lost it. So yes, if you observe once, expect to do it the rest of the day. The rest of the day, but it was a blast. I had a good time doing it. You get free alcohol whenever you'd like because you just look at Josh Martinez and say, "Hey, I'd like a bush apple," and guess what? He'll have a bush
Oh,
apple.
dude, the bapples are flowing. I was gonna say, I think my second one, it came from that group that you were getting heckled by, like the Ike
Mm-hmm.
group. Of like, I went back towards the carpetbaggers and I was like, "Fellas, I'm almost out of my beer." And they're like, "Oh, do you need one?" And there were like 3 coolers
All of
opened
them.
up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like,
Yes.
"The fellas got me."
And you pee before observing because you will need to pee about halfway through.
And even if you pee before observing, you will have
You're
to pee
still
partway
gonna have to
through.
pee. Yeah.
It's just an accepted fact. Also, dude, I've observed a couple of finals at this point, like the 2023 US Go for Worlds qualifying,
Yep.
which was like an insane finals. Like I got to observe that. I've observed a couple other of those. We got brought in way more than I'm used to
We got brought in a
observing
lot.
a
I feel
finals.
like we got
Like
brought in a lot.
we had to chat a lot.
We did.
Sometimes like Bobby and I observed a finals. I think there were 3 games. We made 2 calls, which was great. Like it, honestly, as an observer, it's something that as the board we've talked about in the past of trying to get more qualified observers or for people who really want to do it but maybe have been in the sport as long, like giving them a reference guide of things like where to stand, what to look for, even understanding of, I know it's been brought up in the past of like you can't call a rethrow on a trap call. Like
Right.
either you saw a trap or you didn't. If
Yep.
the observers can't come to a conclusion, it was a clean catch. Things like that of like trying to build out more of like a trading matrix for people who want to observe. But like ultimately as an observer, if you forget I observed a match, like that's the goal. Like if I did
Yes.
not
Right.
impact the match enough that you remember I was there, like that's ideal.
Correct.
And that finals, I was like, oh man, me and Braden are doing too much.
We were doing a lot. I feel like
We are,
especially early. I feel like we
oh
had to
yeah,
do a
it
decent amount. And it's funny you brought that
which
up because who else was on the front was, not to put him on the spot, but Lucas Belkowski was there in the front row next to like, his family and a couple other market
The
people.
whole Belkowski clan, I feel
Yeah.
like, was right around that front row.
And I had made a couple calls that were like all on my side, like like when Kasky threw vertical, and I feel like
So this would have been game 1.
yeah, no, like early, like when Kasky threw
Yeah,
vertical.
I was gonna say there were 2 or 3 calls game 1 that were very much of like you were in position to see it, and I
Yes.
was like, yeah, I see nothing to disagree with that call.
Yes. But then I made a couple of them, and they all, not that no one paid me in alcohol, no one offered me money, but I felt like all of my calls were going against hardwood, just because that's the way the game was going. I don't know.
I was gonna say, so I was trying to figure out how to broach this correctly. Game 1, we made 3 calls. All 3 of them were in favor of Whiskey Disc, and they
But that's the
lost the
thing
game
is
like
I don't,
handedly.
is I
And it's like
don't
it's
like
genuinely it's just what we see.
right.
Like I'd like to think that we got asked to observe because we're pretty impartial, and like I could see the same thing 10 times, and half the time I might make a different decision. Like it's part of observing in guts. It's almost like that, like referees in sports of like it's just what you see live time.
Yeah.
Like to the best of our knowledge, we got it right. But
Anyways,
it's like, yeah, when
I made a
it
couple
feels
calls.
one sided.
Which it did for a minute there, but at the same, like, it felt one side. At the same time, you're trying to be impartial, even though like these are the lads. My father is calling me. I don't know if I should be worried about this. Hold on, this is gonna stay in the show. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh, Mike Galisic featured on the pod like
Hey.
Hayden Claffey.
Recording a podcast episode. Is it urgent?
All right. No, not urgent.
All right, I'll
Just
call you
go to
back.
clubs.
Oh,
All right.
sure, yeah, bye. Easy enough. So
I don't know, Mike. That sounded pretty.
Yeah, my golf
pretty
clubs. That
urgent.
couldn't. Let me call him back. So I make a couple calls, and I feel like game 2 comes around, and the first call of the game, I feel like also went against, like there was something else early that also went against
Yeah.
hardwood. And Lucas Belkowski, I can feel him like lean up in his chair and turn towards me, like I can sense him, and he's just mean mugging the fuck out of me. And I look at him and goes, Galisic, you're from here, dude. Like, you're a local. What are you doing to my boys? And
To
I'm
be
like,
fair,
I'm trying to be
most
of them were.
everyone's local.
Right.
Also, like,
But like I think it's just because like I had grown up with all those guys. I played
Yeah.
hockey with all those guys. I went to high school. Like they were all around the same age. And Lucas leans forward and goes, "The fuck are you doing?" And was like kind of serious about it. And I'm like, I'm kind of scared because I understand that
that's-
like they're all going this way. But also, Lucas, what are you? I'm doing what I can do.
well, and that's like the interesting thing of like not to get into like our conversations observing because that's like a still like a pretty protected private thing, and most people who play in the towards the finals, anything else, like you have enough wherewithal in the sport to not question the observers. Like they're there for that reason. Like
Yeah.
it's a pretty bad look if you're starting to be like, if an observer makes a call and like you start to like go at them, like that's pretty bad in terms of sportsmanship. But
But maybe we deserved
in
it. I don't
between,
know. Maybe I don't know.
I forget
Maybe
which
we did.
I forget which games it was in between, but it was the one where it was Susie threw a shot threw a thumber at 5,
Yeah, I
and
know
it
this is
looked
going.
really wide and really high.
Like over heads of spectators outside.
And like the argument was that like the person reached at a 45-degree angle, so like their box wasn't perfect. And I was like, guys, it was a million miles away from
Yeah.
anyone's box. Like I was behind him and it went that way. And Lucas Jensen, no idea where he was sitting. Between games, Lucas comes up and goes, "That was a good shot by Seuss. I don't know what you were seeing." I was like, Lucas, I could promise you, wherever you were sitting was not a good enough view, my man, because that was nowhere near a good shot.
my god. I fucking
And like it wasn't aggressive or anything. Like he wasn't
No.
like bad. It was just kind of that funny interaction of it was like, I mean, there's maybe like 3 people who saw the shot in the right area. And like you were not one of them.
No.
Like,
No. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. So but the reason we were there, We didn't show up Sunday morning.
I mean, like we technically
We
we
did.
did.
We were there. Our cleats were on. We got free breakfast and everything.
Well, I've got to say some of our
Oh,
cleats were
sorry,
on.
my bad. I don't mean to. That kind of shit.
Also, I mean, Luke got breakfast without putting his cleats on,
He
so
did.
like
I don't know how we got away with that.
Curdy,
We're gonna have to
the
bring that.
system might be broken.
We gotta get a little more. We gotta get a little more strict about this, Kurt. Luke McCarthy
Because I
chips.
think Chips would have played better if his cleats were on
He
before
could
he
have.
ate breakfast.
Could have.
I
Well,
that could have changed the whole day.
it actually could have turned out. I could have played a lot better if I had gone to bed in my cleats. Actually, I
Which
didn't.
I,
I didn't heed your warning.
funnily
From
enough, I think Avery would have been really mad. But
extremely mad. Yeah, I would have been on the couch or in the guest room bedroom. I might have even been outside at that point.
now, so Kurt Saturday morning made a very big deal to highlight the fact that players should have their cleats on and be ready to play and warm up at a certain time, which is a very typical Kurt at Marquette. Like it's part of his whole jive as tournament director is just like harping on you constantly to have your cleats on. And so we showed up on guts time for the most part as a team. And I'm trying to figure out like I had waivers to sign. I already paid, but like my dad and Cam needed to sign the waivers.
Oh,
So I'm
for
walking
the
around with a
kids.
finished
Oh,
waiver, trying to find Rachel to be like, here's the Wolfpack waiver. Can I get our, like
our
tournament
thing.
bag?
Yes.
And Kurt's like, no, you need your cleats on. And I was like, Kurt, I don't even know where to put this because you won't take it. I was like, I get it. We'll get there. Like, it's step two. Step one is just make sure the team's registered and signed up. And then after that, I see you walking across, and I was like, Braden, from what Kurt said, if you didn't have your cleats on when you woke up this morning, you were behind the eight ball.
Behind, and I was.
You should have woke up cleats ready to rip, like first thing, gloves on, full uniform.
And that's on me. I didn't. Although I went for my run that morning in my guts attire because I figured I was gonna sweat in these 3 hours later. I may as well just put them on now and not have to change after I go on my run.
Turns
You
out
know,
you just got misted on.
I could
That was
have. Yeah, that
that
was
was
the
the
issue.
conclusion.
Turns out that was the issue.
Yeah, so Saturday morning, real rainy. Not even rainy. It was just really like
Damp.
foggy and
Yeah.
damp and humid. The way I described it was it wasn't raining, but it felt like if you dried a frisbee and then threw it, it would be wet by the time it made it
Yeah.
the 45 feet.
Are you
Like,
familiar with old Scooby Doo cartoons?
oh yes.
Are you familiar
What's new
with
Scooby
the
Doo? I was raised on.
Are you familiar with the scene where they're on the boat and someone says it's as thick as pea soup and like Scooby with his nail cuts a circle out of the fog and like removes it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fucking Tourist Park Saturday morning,
it
dude.
was. It also one of my favorites was Tanner, who self-acclaimed really good at selling houses, like top notch at selling houses. Doesn't know a darn thing about the weather or geography.
Mm.
And Tanner goes, "Is this smoke? Like, is this like wildfire smoke or is this fog?" I remember Hul looking at him and going, "Well, it was 80 yesterday. It's 60 degrees now, and Lake Superior is 45 degrees. Also, we can't see the sun. I think it might be fog.
There's a chance it's fog. Something tells
Also,
me.
we're all breathing outside. I don't think it's smoke."
Yes, fact. We don't have the National Weather Service giving us
Just screaming at us.
yeah, I think we're all right. It's just yeah, the Scooby
Listen,
Doo
like
episode.
Jim Moak, who I trust on all things air quality, was not wearing an N95 mask. I
Mm.
think it was fog.
Which I have one of those hanging back in my house, which is kind of like triggering to have a mask back like actively hanging in my house.
Just in case.
Like it's
Yeah.
kind of triggering, but you got to stay healthy. You can't be out in that shit. Anyways, it was fog. Scooby Doo was out there with his fingernail cutting
Yeah,
circles.
we have got the biggest aside in the world. So we go 3-0 in pools. We had I will say a short-handed A races team, mostly just because like Desi, who's their typical gunner, was playing on. I think he was on 151.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
I think one of the two old Mark. He wasn't on Quinn City Flyers. He was on
No,
151.
151 smells correctly. Yeah.
When that game we beat Blood and Guts, who we always play,
Yeah.
and they gave us a bit of a ride more
Yes,
than
they
we
did.
thought they were going to. I want to say that was like 21-16,
Yeah, they gave us a bit of a ride.
21-15, 21-16. And then we played Burn, which
That was
is
fun.
always fun in the first place, but
Yeah.
was extra fun because Jake and Johnny were playing with them. So
Yep.
anytime we play Tanner's cousins, it's a good time.
Yep.
And that was 21-17. And then we got Blood and Guts in a best of one in bracket play because the tournament, which had 22 teams, I feel like we haven't talked about this at all yet. 22 total teams on 10 fields, which so many teams.
It
Awesome.
was a lot.
Oh, not only that, I looked it up. I think it was either just under or just over half of the teams had at least 7 players.
Wow.
So from like a player perspective, like we were up over, like if you assume 100 or 22 teams at 5 players, it's at minimum 110 players. I want to say we were pretty close to like 150 players
That's fucking
in this
awesome.
tournament, plus all of the spectators that you get in Marquette.
Yeah.
But in order to keep play moving and possible, on Saturday, the play-in game for winners bracket and the first round of winners bracket was best of one. So we had a bye through the play-in with our record. We were the 4 seed, and then we played Blood and Guts in a best of one, which took forever. Like they caught everything. And I want to give a huge shout out. First of all, to Rick Milner. Rick
Shout out.
was, dude, his defense was unreal.
He just caught everything. You just couldn't
He
throw
caught
at him.
everything.
But then there was also like a magnet at him, and frisbees just
Yeah,
found their way.
it was one of those of like, okay, guys, like Rick's got our number right now. Like it's still Saturday. Like we're not showing, we're not throwing 100%, but like we're still throwing pretty hard, and it didn't matter. Like Rick was on a heater of all heaters,
No.
and then we try and go the other way, and Bruce Richardson was playing out of his mind.
True fact. Bruce Richardson was moving off the line better than
He was
I
like
moving all of
sliding,
Saturday.
diving
That was
catches in the
crazy.
backfield.
It was crazy.
Like he was bagging Cam. Like Bruce was
It
playing
was nuts.
unreal.
Yeah.
They just could not score. Like I think we were stuck at like 17-10 for like 15
A
shots or something.
long time.
And it was like yeah, they were playing like really good defense. It was just our defense was at that point where it was like, guys, it doesn't really matter what you do. Like we're gonna catch every shot you could possibly throw. It just eventually we got to score a point. So we won that game, and then we played Boomtown in a best 2 out of 3 for winners quarters in
Yes.
the 4 or 5 matchup, which I have been told by multiple people I talked to. Not only was that the most intense Saturday Frisbee they've seen in years, it was the most fun Saturday Frisbee they've watched in a long time.
Fuck yeah.
Which I feel like, as someone who wins a lot of these Saturday afternoon to get into winter semis in twos, like I feel like I've watched some pretty comparable matches, like Ypsilanti Yes versus Shuttlebop at Wisco. Felt like a similar environment.
It's a good comp.
Like there've been some other games of like Monty's played some games like that. Even our match against Monty at the IFT Saturday night felt similarly exciting.
True.
But like it truly felt like something like you'd see in like a winners finals against Boomtown Saturday night. And we won game 1 22-20. I wrecked my shoulder. It was not good.
No, I can confirm it was not ideal.
So I only remember like what the game score was. I know it was like 18s plus, like that point in the game. And JV dove to keep a disc up, and I was like, I can do the same thing. And it was that like, if anyone's played like a decent bit of Ultimate, like one of the first things you learn how to do is how to bid properly without hurting your shoulder. And like they're more concerned of like if you dive, like you can hit the ground and like separate your shoulder out. And so like that's usually cognizant on my mind when I go to catch a disc, is like rotate so that you're not pulling your shoulder out of its socket or anything. I went to knock the frisbee back in the air, like Justin did. I totally missed. I hit like the front rim of the disc, and it just went nowhere. And then I landed straight on my shoulder, and I was like, "Ooh, that feels really bad." But I was like, we'll just, it's kind of like a stinger. We'll play it out. And then I remember Cam asked me probably like 5 times if I was okay. I was like, yeah, Cam, I'm good. Totally. Like, it's fine. And then I know game point, Chris Walden hits me on the end, and I popped it to either you or Tanner, one of you two. We catch it, we score, game ends. Between games, I tried to throw a shot. I don't think I've ever felt that much arm pain in my life.
Damn.
I was like, hey, between games, let me see if I can still throw. Like, I was lying through my teeth that I could still legitimately play. Like, the defense felt good.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I reached for a disc and I was like, oh, my arm goes up. I'm fine. Like, nothing really serious happened. And then after game one, I was like, hey, I need to make sure I can throw a frisbee. And I went to throw a backhand and, like, I reached back and went to pull across, and my arm stopped in the middle of its flight path, wouldn't go any further. And I just, like, let go of the disc and it went like 9 feet wide left. And I was like, that hurt so bad that I was just on the ground. And I was like, okay, well, I'm done. Like, that
Damn.
was that was a new one for me.
Yeah, no shit.
Um, Game two, we felt, I think we were just like trying to find the chemistry of like with the lineup shift, what five we put in. Boomtown played way better. They won. It was like 21-14, 21-15, something like
Yeah, we
that.
got down pretty quick, pretty fast,
Pretty
pretty quick.
decisive game two
Yeah.
victory. And it was one of those like they got up early, stayed up, like played like vintage Boomtown of like they were popping, they were feeding. Like Ryan was playing good. Marty was throwing out of his mind. Like Marty
Fact.
was throwing so well. And then like Will kind of caught on to heater game two. And then game three, we like found our defense again. Very much like that, like peak Wolfpack defense of like, we don't care who's throwing at us, we can catch anything. And then there were some very contentious calls, is how I will say it, to be trying to be politically correct.
We fast forwarded to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
It was
game
very
three was a
back and
very
forth.
tight. Game three was a very tight game.
I would also like
There
to
was a
note
lot.
that about halfway through that, the other series had finished next door.
Oh,
So
everyone was
then
done.
everyone who was watching that filed over. So the entire tournament was
We
watching
had
us.
like we had like a Sunday crowd, which I think goes back to that atmosphere that we
It
talked
was
about.
so
Like it
sick.
felt like Sunday frisbee. Um, it's one of the few times I feel like we got robbed of a game because of calls. Like to be fully transparent on the podcast, which we aren't always, but like I think if there's observers, we win game three pretty easily. Like there were a couple calls that we felt were obvious, the crowd felt were obvious that we either rethrew or went with like the defense's call. And we ended up losing 22-20 in game three.
22-20, I believe.
Yeah. It,
Yeah.
it was overtime, whatever amount of overtime.
Yeah.
But I know that was like really frustrating for the squad. I felt really frustrated not being able to contribute.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was really exciting frisbee. It was really good frisbee,
It was
which
great frisbee. I had a great time.
we weren't mad because we played bad, which I think is more frustrating.
True. Which a
Which
little
possibly
precursor
carried over
to Sunday.
into Sunday. so because of how many teams we had in the tournament, um, any team that lost in the 2 out of 3 Saturday had a double bye Sunday morning. So
Yeah.
like we had 2 games who had to play, and then the winners of those games played, and then we had the winner of that. Um, and we were like, hey, what if we don't really show up on Sunday? Is the best way I could put it. And Damn It played great. So we lost to Damn It.
Damn It played out of their mind.
It was like 21-17.
Yeah,
I want to
they
say
played out of their mind.
21-16, 21-17. I hadn't seen Larry Scott play Guts Frisbee in like 5 years. Larry played unbelievably. Like, not only was his like flip good and we really struggled to catch it, he was just the guy where like the Frisbee, whether we threw it at him or whether it was ups, it always seemed to like go to him. Like,
Yeah.
I know at one point he begged Cam and then like scored like 3 straight shots after that. and it was like, okay, Larry's not our guy, not our side. But like everything we threw at the other side just kind of like somehow drifted to him.
Yeah,
Um, and then also, dude, we got moped. We
we did a lot frequently actually.
yeah, so
We'd put something and if we just you just have a palm up, and all of a sudden the disc is 15 feet in the air, just floating. There it is.
I was gonna say like that whole team played super super well. Like they played really good frisbee, and like I feel like we just kind of like blinked, and all of a sudden it was like, guys, we're down like 14-9.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 7-4 switch.
I all I remember is we were down 10-12. We switched to
Yes.
have the wind at our back, and they 7-4 switched us, and we were down 19-14.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
And it was like, holy cow! Like, and we've kind of I talked about it with some folks at the tournament of like, Hardwood had this at Wisco, and then they've taken 2 seconds this year. Uh, Monty had this at the IFT after taking second at Wisco. Um, where just like sometimes you hit a Sunday morning and like you guys just don't have it. I think it was just like really like we were so startled by what was happening that we just kind of didn't make the adjustments we felt like we could have made. I mean, I think for most of us, this is our lowest finish since like early Wolfpack days.
Oh, I would argue in respect to where our talent level is currently compared to where our talent level was back then. This was probably our Wolfpack's worst ever finish at a tournament. If you are
Oh
going
no,
based
fair.
off of like what our
Yeah,
talent was comparatively. Yeah,
yeah. By results, losing the first game Sunday morning, Wolfpack have done that before, but
plenty of times. We were
it was
much
like
much worse though.
it was like 2018, and you were 16 and throwing a two finger back then.
Yeah, I still had my those joggers on and those black and white
Oh,
football cleats that came up over the ankle, dude. Like I wasn't looking great.
you still
Ryan
did like
Morrissey was still on the team.
you still did like the step through two finger.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
sure I
man.
did. I'm sure I did. Yeah.
But yeah, and like we certainly don't think any of us felt like we are playing our A game, but like damn it, played a hell of a game.
Full props to damn it. Yeah, like
Yeah, like
full
they
props to damn
totally
it.
deserved to win. They played
Yes.
out of their minds. They caught
Correct.
super well.
It was
They threw
unbelievable.
well. They played the
Yes.
wind well.
Yes.
Um, and then looking through on the bracket as a whole on Sunday, they ran into Monte Carlo after that,
Yep.
um, who ended up beating them. And then Monty ran into Whiskey Disc,
Yep.
who the other big thing I think, and I feel like we run into this at nationals more than any other tournament. And like, I'm curious your opinion on this vibe, but more than anything else, Sunday feels like a marathon, not a sprint at nationals.
Mm. Yeah. Um, I mean, I think
So
that's inherently true across most of the days, but especially when if you have to grind it through the losers bracket, which we didn't
I was
really
gonna say, I
experience, but
I
we
don't know
have
if it
done
was just
before.
yeah, like I don't know if it was just more teams or
Yeah.
it's just the fact that there's less wind at nationals compared to the IFT, which is usually where we get our other biggest numbers. So that like there's more defense. Like I
Hmm.
remember not only when we won nationals in 24, but also when we lost in the finals in 23 and also 2025 when we took fourth of like it felt like in order to win a game you had to catch like 10 more discs than a normal tournament.
Sure.
And maybe that's just because it wasn't super windy, but like both winter semis went 3 this
Yep.
year at nationals. So it was like you got 3 games of hardwood boomtown, you got 3 games of whiskey disc and shuttlebop. And then when Hardwood beat Shadowbop in winners finals, like I um I observed that game. There was just so much defense. Like you could just see arms wearing out through the course of that. And I was like, yeah, dude, I don't doubt it. Like Hardwood took what's hypothetically the most ideal route to winning a tournament in terms of just like winning all of the matches you can win or winning all the series you can win. And they still played 8 games of frisbee on Sunday. Or yeah, 8 games because they went 3 in winter semis. They took winners finals in 2, and then they lost in 3 in the finals. And so it's like trying to
That's a lot.
throw 100% for 8 games.
Is a
Like
lot.
we've done it once or twice. It's insane.
That's so
Like you
much
got to have
frisbee.
a, especially for teams where it's like, hey, this is our five. This is the five we're rolling with.
Yeah.
Like to get to that point where it's like, no, I can throw 60 shots as hard as I can in a day. Like
Yeah. Well, like league, for
nuts.
example, Sunday league, we'll play 4 games, and I'm gassed and ready to. Like I'm like I've had enough frisbee. And then Sundays, if you
Oh
make it all
yeah.
the way, you're playing easily double that. So it's yeah, Sundays for sure, especially if you make it all the way is a grind, and that Monday day off of rest is very well
Oh,
deserved.
it's insane.
Very well
Okay,
deserved.
as we keep talking about the podcast, my laptop's about to die,
Mm,
and I have to remember where I put my laptop charger.
I can ramble.
Which is
So, well, let's start.
perfect.
I'll start talking about the finals. So Noah and I, like we mentioned earlier, we got the privilege to spectate the finals. Um, Whiskey Disc versus UB Hardwood, which was a phenomenal 3 game series. Um, I think, and Max Mraz back-to-back MVP. Shout out Max. I know Noah hasn't figured that out yet, but maybe we'll wait. No, I was just congratulating Max on his back-to-back MVP.
Oh yeah, insanity.
That's what his hand
He
claps are
played
for.
so good.
I bring back to that diving catch that we had to call a clean catch.
Okay, so I'm happy you brought this up. So I was at the gym earlier on the treadmill and I was watching just various parts of the live stream from the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them, like, you know, where Jim's at calling the finals on the live stream from the middle of the field. Like things like, is it wider, higher, vertical?
Right.
Like you're not
Couldn't
in the
really tell.
perfect position to see it.
Yep.
That catch, Jim was in a great spot
Oh,
for
did
the
it? Is it a
video.
good?
I felt so justified
Oh, fuck yeah.
in
Fuck
calling it a
yes.
clean catch. And like I watched it back like 3 times. It's one of those like it's very much like the ultimate catch rules of at least from what I could see from the stream watching it, like it really looked like Max's hand went underneath disc close. And
Yeah.
I was like, cool, that's like whatever sports rules you want to go off of. I feel like for us on that, like it should be the same as how ultimate determines their like catches on bids on
Mm-hmm.
the ground of like as long as your hand gets underneath it. And I was like,
I agree.
yeah, Max's knuckles were definitely underneath that disc first.
Cool. Fuck
And I
yeah.
was
Well,
like,
that
cool,
feels
great.
awesome. That feels
Also
nice. I can sleep
on
now
this,
for the rest of.
yeah, on the stream, Jim, and it was like game point. It was like 2019 or something
It was
on that
late. It was
call. It
late.
was like late game 2, and I was like,
And
don't bring us in.
for a
Don't bring us in.
fact, you made that call and walked back to go behind the line. So then it's my turn next to the scoreboard, and who other but fucking Lucas Belkowski is now giving it to me again, because previously he'd been giving me shit, and now he's like out of his chair at this point, and I'm like,
Which
first
is
off,
funny
Lucas,
because
not even my call. So like,
I got nothing from that.
which is hilarious. Anyways,
Also, it was great because you can hear Moke on the stream be like, literally, he was like, the play happens, and he goes, "Yeah, Noah Gannon was like in the perfect spot to see that happen, and they're gonna call him in." He goes, "Yeah, I'm sure happy I'm not Noah right now having to make this call." And I was like, he
hell yeah,
felt like an MLB umpire in the World Series back in
yeah,
the
dude.
day, where it was like, "Oh, here's a like contentious call at home plate that you got to make."
Mm-hmm.
And
But
I was
that's,
like,
I mean, I think yes. So shout out Max. Well deserved. I feel like he did everything in his power to when he was the target, he stepped up. He scored some big points. He played really, really well defensively. Um, Shout out Max, dude. I mean, not a whole lot else to say.
I was gonna
Um,
say the one thing, and I don't even think it was a game that they won. I want to say it was during game 1, maybe it was during game 2, but there was a popped up that Max almost like overran going back. It wasn't game 1. It was like super early in the finals, and he like dove back and knocked the frisbee back
I
up
remember
where
what
he
you're
was
talking about. Yes,
like parallel with the ground, and then like Tim made a diving catch,
yes, I do
and
remember this.
it was just that like moment where you're not in the finals where you're like, oh man, we are in for a really good one.
Yeah,
Like this is point 0.5 of the finals,
yeah,
and they're already making these incredible plays. Like
yeah.
we were set for some really good frisbee. And
Yes. And speaking of defense that stepped up, I feel like so we're gonna hopefully you're gonna see him in an interview spliced onto this. But Scott Stokely's defense when he was called in the middle, it took him a second to figure it out. But come game 3, like I remember I was watching behind Hogan throw, and he ripped a backhand, and Scott Stokely somehow 6'8" fucking just got a meaty palm on it and popped it right to
dude, his
Tim
hands are
Meyer.
so big.
Yeah, dude. And Hogan just turned around and looks at Connor Steer and goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, there's no, And I'm like, yeah, if I'm Hogan, sure, Scott's got a hard throw coming back, but his defense historically has not always been there. And he ripped one. And he just, like, got a great hand on it. And I feel like
Well,
that
and
was the
I feel like
takeaway
that was
from
kind of
the
the thing.
series.
So Stokely came in game 2, did
Yep,
not play game 1 of the finals,
correct.
which he got pulled Sunday morning after partway through winter semis. Cully came in. Cully played great, which again we go back to. It takes depth to win a tournament.
Yes.
Like you can't. Rarely can you just have 5 who can play.
Yeah,
Like
yes.
there's going to be that moment when someone needs a break, or not all 5 of you have the arm to make it through Sunday. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've been there before. So it's like Cully came in and played
It was
fantastic
unbelievable.
to get him back to the finals.
They wouldn't have been
Especially,
there.
dude, that losers finals game against Shadowbop, like Cully played out of his mind.
Out of his
Like
mind.
if you asked me, you know how like other sports do like conference finals, MVPs, that type
Yep.
of stuff.
Yep.
Like if you ask me who the best player in the losers bracket finals was, I would have said Cully.
Oh, for sure.
Like he was bagging Carter, he was bagging Will, he was popping Steve-O, he was scoring, like his 2 finger was snappy. He was just an anchor in the middle.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts.
We get to hardwood, he wasn't performing at the same level. They made the Stokely switch, and it was like Scott had time during game 2 because of how well he throws and how accurate he is to like kind of get acclimated.
Mm-hmm.
And like it may, I would need the Nate LaSalle statistics on his laptop, like where he was plus minus and all that stuff. Um, where's his WAR at? What's his wins above replacement
True.
on the tournament?
Fact.
But I feel like from watching it, he at least threw good enough that like he gave himself time to like figure out the defense and like get used to the shot speed. And then by the time we got to game 3, it was the things that you saw of like he was popping discs really good. He wasn't afraid to like go catch an up if he was in that space. And then like that offense was still there of like super accurate, fast angled 2 finger that you got to try and catch.
True.
And it was like, yeah, for someone who started playing the sport, what, like 2 years ago?
True.
Like that's a rocket ship
good.
trajectory.
Yeah, pretty damn good. Going else, just talking about whiskey briefly. I mean, the two lead guys on the team stepped up when they had to in Derek Stone and Bert.
So are they dirt or Barrick? Because I feel like they can't be dirt.
No, because that's no.
Although it is dirt with a U.
No, I feel like it has to be Barrick.
I think it is Barrick.
Yeah, all right. So now whenever you play them, just don't hit Barrick, or Max, or Tim Meyer, or anyone on that team, apparently.
Actually, you know what? Just don't play them.
Yeah, just don't play them. Just avoid them when possible.
It's a rough time.
Actually, as it turns out, just don't. If you can avoid them at all costs, that'd be great. Actually, so the Stars stepped up. I mean, Tim Meyer's defense is a thing of legend. Everyone's heard of Tim Meyer's defense, and that was on display. Cully, I think when I saw Cully, I thought of our own Luke and his performance the Saturday evening of 2024. Like, we wouldn't have been where we were Sunday morning if Chips didn't show up against that series, that Worms series on Saturday night. I feel like Luke McAuliffe was our Luke. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, they for sure. I will without a doubt say if Cully does not play as good as he did at parts on Sunday, they are never in the finals.
Fact, correct. Because
to give the rest of their team a chance to win.
Shelled. Like, that was a game plan. The guy stuck with it.
He
just
played
didn't blink.
So good.
Didn't fucking blink.
Being the target in the middle, like feeding Bert and Derek.
Yeah.
Bagging a bunch of discs himself.
Yeah.
So and just like throwing super well.
It's going to feel bad that he didn't play in 2 of the 3 games in the finals, yes, but they wouldn't have got there had it not been for Luke McAuliffe.
No.
So, big
well, and also
I
think
McAuliffe.
Cully might correct me on this. I'm pretty sure that's Whiskey's
Third.
third nationals.
Yep.
I think that's his first.
Mm.
I don't believe he might have been on last year's team, and I'm just completely forgetting. No, he wasn't, because when Tim got hurt, Treads came in,
Yeah,
um,
that sounds about
which
right.
would typically be Cully Sunday morning. So I think this is his first nationals, and I'm like, yeah, dude, you deserve that
Yeah.
as much as anyone else at minimum.
Yeah. Rock star
Like,
shit.
absolutely making sure, like, and it's something I feel like if you're not at that level of competition sometimes, like in any sport, trying to explain of like the guy who gets you to the finals is just as important, if not more important, as the guy who delivers it. Like,
Yeah.
this was a real 2017 Marc Andre Fleury getting the
Mm.
Mets to the
Damn.
Cup final, and then
Damn.
letting Matt Murray come back from injury and take all the Cup glory.
Damn. Yeah. That's a hell of a comp.
Turns out Cully's just 2017 Flower.
That's all. We get him some white gloves or or yellow gloves or cleats or something. So yes, before moving on from whiskey, I really just wanted to make sure that Cully got his flowers because even though you may not have seen him, boy, did he have an impact, and that was pretty special to watch. So now for me, moving on to hardwood, I think my biggest takeaway was Connor Steer played like Connor Steer. Hogan Emmets played like Hogan Emmets. Luke Lottinen played like like the core. And I guess they're all the core now because they've been together for a while. But what really stood out to me, and I think had Hardwood won, I think Jake Susi gets that Finals
Dude,
MVP
he played on.
like
So
without a doubt.
I still go back to this is like permanently stuck in my brain forever. When we beat Hardwoods in winter semis in 2023, which was like the mullet series, where he
Yes.
came back in.
Yep.
Game 3, they started to kind of like, and they were all in college, like they were like 19, but they started to like bicker as we were beating them game 3 after they'd beat us game 1. But I remember of like they put Susie in the middle, and we were like, "What are you guys doing? Like, how do you not put like Hokie or Lottie in the middle right now?" And I remember Lottie being like, "Seuss is going to be our middle, like long term. Like he has the skill set. He's just got to get used to the play." And we were all super confused at the time, and now it's like, "Oh, you guys were so right."
Yeah.
like,
Fuck
like
yeah. Are you
Seuss is
kidding?
a natural middle. His hands are nuts. Like his thumb is super accurate. And now, like looking back 3 years later, I'm like, "Yeah, guys, that was a spot on call.
Yeah.
Like that is absolutely your middle."
Yep. So I thought he played out of his mind the whole finals. I didn't really get to see a whole lot of him because they had games going on before we started spectating. So I didn't really get to see what any of Hardwood's Sunday morning and afternoon looked like up until then. But he
Uh,
played out of his mind.
I was gonna say we missed winners semis. I got to do winners finals when they beat Bob, and it was interesting. I had the pleasure, as always, of driving Axel Sites back downstate after the tournament, and we got into like I got a little bit of like the hardwood mentality from him as we were talking, doing the classic debrief from the tournament Monday, and he was like, "Yeah, when we started to play really good, there was just like a couple games where every up went to Hogan, and like Hoagie just got on a heater, and it happened against Bob, and it mostly happened during game 1 of the finals where it was like it didn't matter if the frisbee went forward, it went backwards. Like if someone else upped it, it felt like the passes were there. Like Hogan just got to the disc, and he was like, "Dude, Hogan just like went to another level." And our team chemistry just absolutely locked on that. And then like Connor started to play really good and started to take ups and score. Like, oh, we know the feeling of like Bob could not catch a staker like in winners finals, and I was like, oh, I know how that
You know
feels.
how that
Like
feels.
that
Been
thing
there
is
before.
can just be so good sometimes. But
Yeah.
it was also interesting for those who don't know, because I had to ask Axel because I don't know where it came from. But like even though Hogan's the back of Hogan's jersey says Hoagie, like Hogan's other nickname is Dibber.
Dibber. Yes,
And
dude.
I
Yeah.
was like, I don't even remember where Dibber comes from. I know he's Dibber. And it was like his PlayStation tag or something. Like
That
Lottie just told him to
sounds
pick like
right.
4 random letters, and it was Dibber.
DIBR.
Yeah,
That
and so they just
feels about right.
like so like that group has called him Dibber, but I heard like in adults, like someone in their 40s or 50s, when we were observing the finals, yelled at Hogan before he was about to throw, like, "Come on, Dipper!"
Hell yeah,
And
dude.
Axel was like, "Dude, I heard the same thing," because I got confused. Because I was like, "Well, it's not Hogan's parents, and the steers are on the other side, so it's not one of the steers."
Oh no.
And I was like, "Mick and Michelle are over there on the sideline, so it's not them." And I was like, "Who knows him as Dibber, who's older than
That's
like 30?"
that's awesome.
Like, it was so confusing.
That's fucking awesome. That'd be like if Brownie somehow called me Speedy Magoo one day. I'd be like
Right,
really
exactly. It'd be
confused.
like if you're Discord, Dave, and you're like, "Hang on, what?"
Yeah, where or like
Like, dude,
if
can you imagine? I'm trying to think. It'd be the equivalent of, I'm trying to think like the adult. If like one of the rectors or like Brian Beckman looked at Chips and was like, "Let's go war on posters."
War on posters, dude. Yes. No, so that's shout out Dibber. I don't even know where I can't remember where the fuck we were. We've completely gone off the rails.
He played out of his
Played out of
mind
his
and
mind.
then got called his obscure nickname,
Yep.
which is
Oh, and
crazy.
Brendan Kasky. There were a couple times I had the pleasure of the start of one of the games because it must have been the second game because I was on what would have been the south side of the field as Whiskey was throwing towards the new parking lot, and Kasky was on one, and it was Scott Stokely, and there were two like almost identical shots, forehands that like just flipped up and found the outside hand at like his ankles, and he just bent down to bag it. I'm like, fuck yeah, Brendan Kasky. I
Dude,
love that for you.
he played so good. I know too of like there were like 3 or 4 times that Carter threw at him that he either self popped Carter's thumber, and it was just like boop boop, and you're like, "Kasky, that's gross." That was outside man, outside hand on a Carter thumber, which means it's fast, it's moving,
Yeah,
and you're just like, "That's fine." Or he'd like pop it to Steer Hogan, and
right.
you're like they just stopped throwing at him. Like they tried to go at Lottie or Susie at that point because he was playing so good. But it
Fuck
was
yeah.
like, yeah, that between that and just like his accuracy all day on Sunday, it was like that's ideal end man play.
Oh
Like
yes,
1000%.
yes. I think either team could have deserved one. I think it just it came down to a couple plays at the end, and Whiskey came out on top. So
Turns out Barrick's really good at winning
turns out
tournaments.
Barrick
Who would have
and
guessed?
Max on an end.
Just
Why just don't throw at Max's end?
yeah,
Apparently,
it's just it doesn't
but
work
then you're
out well.
throwing at Bert and Tim Myers.
I
So
was
now
gonna
we're
say, I
back
was
to
like,
this.
which means that you've got to go at like Stokely, who's having his ascendant tournament, or Tim, which is always just sounds like a bad
It
idea.
sounds like a bad idea. Feels like a
And
bad
you're
idea.
and you're like, okay, well, I guess that's how we try and win this game
Yeah,
against.
close your pray. Apparently, is the hope. But anyways, shout out Whiskey Disc back to back Nationals. Max Mraz back to back MVPs.
And
That's
Whiskey
pretty damn
Disc's
cool.
third nationals title.
That's pretty damn good.
They're
That's
only
pretty
like
pretty damn good.
5 behind Appleton or 4 behind.
We don't need to talk about it. We don't need. We don't need to talk about it.
Just you do your own research on that one and how many they may or may not have won in a row
Yep.
on our home soil.
Yep. Anyways, so I feel like I've covered everything I want to talk about at nationals. So what's coming to you guys next, and hopefully what gets spliced onto the end of this video. And if it doesn't, you
It'll
won't
be
be
its own
hearing
video.
this
It'll be a
because
separate
okay,
video.
sure, then that's fine. Then it'll be a separate video. But we will be having Scott Stokely on the show, whether he knows that or not. We tried to get him last year.
Last year,
Yeah, and things just like fell through on like a timing thing.
I feel like there was one episode that was going to work for us. He got busy. There was one episode that was going to work for
Yeah.
him. We got busy.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah,
But he's
shit
now been
happens.
he's now been on a winning team, and we felt, oh well, it's fitting to circle back to
Well, to be fair,
this.
his second Guts tournament win because he did win
Oh, that's true.
layout
Yep. my bad.
2026, but
My
his
bad.
first major win.
There you go. Yep.
To get really
I
really
stand
in the
corrected.
weeds about it.
I stand
But-
corrected. So if you're hearing that right now, great. If not, just know that that's coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yes, coming soon. And it is only 8:40 p.m. But I am tired. I know Noah's tired, and there's reason for this. I've started to run, so I'm up at 5 a.m. running at 5:30.
To be clear, Braden's always up around 5.
That's true. Avery's alarm goes off in the morning. Managing a coffee shop means you have to sometimes open the coffee shop, which means you're up early.
Tough. Big tough.
So I've decided to be productive. So I've been running, which just means I'm a little tired is all.
Which we love.
Love.
And we're about to get to some earlier pods too, because coaching season's upon us. So
which means sports is upon me, which means we're both about to get really busy.
I was gonna say,
which also means frisbee season is winding down, which is unfortunate.
True. Which is well, we'll get into I think some more opportunities to play frisbee going forward.
That is true.
Whether or not we're able to do them ourselves, but if not, we're gonna randomly kick it to the Stokely interview. Yes. It'll be a great cut. Braden will do a great job.
I'll do a great job.
If not, y'all just go get it. Go down to US Go and just go get it.
Please.
Pretend that either of us are at that tournament.
Fact. If you're when you're down there and you play against Luke McCarthy, who I think is going to be the only Wolfpack member there.
I think Tanner's.
Oh yes,
Tanner might be playing on Appleton.
Tanner will be there.
Also, Super Appleton might be there, guys. So good luck. Have fun.
Good luck. We'll cross that bridge on the show when we get there.
GG's well played.
But we well met. So if you see Chips and wonder where Braden is, just think, oh, the Marquette Marathon is actively being ran, and Braden runs the website and social media for that.
And then think, is Northern Soccer playing this weekend?
No,
I feel like
but you ready for this? The marathon is in the morning of the 5th. The
Yep,
home opener football game is in the afternoon of the 5th.
Wait, Braden, I think I could probably type up the summary of the home opener. Northern Michigan University, despite having a lot of optimism in the offseason, came out flat to start the season, giving up 24 in the first half, and despite a 17-point outburst, ended up losing 49-35 in their home opener against whomever they're playing.
I'm going to circle back to this after. I'm going to make a mental note to circle back to 57 minutes into the show.
The show that we said was going to be less than a half hour.
Yeah, and here we are 27 minutes later. Okay.
But so
I do have a lot of optimism for
if you're
this
there,
team,
it'll be great.
Yes. Which I'm not going to spoil anything because it's very murky, but sources, I have a source. His name is Chips, but I have a source who he gave me who he's potentially playing with, and if this actually pans out, I think he's going to have a really great fucking time. But I don't want to say anything because I don't know how.
I was going to say you know a lot more than me, so I'll say in the dark, and then we can get my live reaction.
It's
post US Go podcast.
If he plays with him, I think he would have a great time because it's not people who I think he would ever expect to play with, nor I would ever expect to play with. But I think he's going to have a blast and could be competitive. So
that's great. And I think, Braden, the best way to end it is for all you folks at home.
Yes.
The light shall burn you.
The light. Yeah, I'm going to turn this light off, crawl into bed. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, peace, y'all.
See ya.